Hi, today I'm going to be showing you how to apply a texture in Blender. So you're working on your own project here, and you want to apply a texture, but you don't want to make your own because it probably won't look as good as some 4K textures out there, and you don't want to waste the time drawing up your own. So you can either buy one, or you can get a free one, which I personally like free stuff. So you're going to go to Polyhaven. Click on the website, and you're going to go to textures, and we're just going to choose a random texture here. This rock patty one looks good, and you can choose whatever resolution you want it to be. I want to choose 2K just because it's quicker to download. And then once it finishes downloading, you're going to want to drag the zip file, and if you're going to have multiple textures, you're going to want to put it into a texture folder, as well as leave this on your desktop, because if you move it around, your textures are going to look pink because they lost the texture file. You want to put it into your texture folder, and they're going to find it. The zip file should give you a folder, and then we're going to go to our project here, and we're going to make a new mesh. Now, for choosing what texture you want to use for what mesh, a golden rule is if it has a lot of edges and everything in it, I wouldn't put it on any round objects like you see here with the sphere, because it's going to stretch out your texture and it's going to look weird. So I have my cube here now. I'm going to go to shading. I'm going to find that file that I had in my texture folder. You're going to click new. And you're going to be brought up with this. Most of these you probably won't ever use, unless you're doing some real fine detail into your textures. And I want to grab all these files. Luckily with this file, it's pretty simple. Most of them you might pull up 8 files, and I'll show you how to use all those later. Now this one, this is our color. You're going to plug it in to your base color here. Oh, whoops. Sorry. This one is our color. And then sometimes you'll take a look here. This is supposed to be a difference file, which will help with how light bounces off of objects, but this creator named it wrong. This is actually our base color. We're going to drag it in there, and you're going to see your texture's on there, but right now it's just a plain flat image. It just reflects light like any other object would. So we're going to take this, look at this file. This is your displacement. So we're going to press Shift A and type in displacement. We're going to plug this in to the height and this into the displacement. Now when working with files, you're going to take a look at the nodes and what color they are. Yellow colors will always plug into other yellow colors and gray colors, but if you try to try to plug it into a normal map, it's not gonna work. Now what this displacement does, it gives it a 3D illusion effect. You see, before we plug this in, it looks pretty flat. And then after we plug this in, it kind of makes it look like it's rigid, like the rock's actually 3D. Then over here, we have our rough. The rough is where light doesn't reflect, and metallic is where light does reflect. So usually they don't have both files, because most things are just either going to be like a rough object, like a rock, or a shiny magic object, like a metal. So we're going to attach this into the rough node. And now you can see where there's different points of light where it reflects now. And now your normal matte. Your normal matte regulates on how much light reflects in certain places, where rough and metal says where light can and can't reflect. So we are going to search normal map, And like I said earlier, yellows can plug into yellows and grays, but you can't plug in a color texture, into a normal. So that's why you need a normal map to use it like an adapter. You want to plug the color into color and the normal into normal. And now our object is completely done. So when you're looking at an object, when you're looking at a texture like this, in this texture file, there are a lot of different files. So I'm going to just show you real quick on what some of them are. This, you'll notice, it says your color. Most things will name it their color here to give you the texture. Now we have our displacement and our metallicness. Like I said, plug this into metallic and plug the roughness into rough. And then right here, we have two normal maps. And this, I got confused by this at first. But in the short sense, it has to do with what type of color your texture is. And I still haven't quite figured out on what colors work best with which type of file. So I normally just have them both here and plug them in and out and just see which color I like best. Now, your displacement might also say difference. They both do the same thing, just some people call them different things. So don't be worried about that texture file. And then I have two types of objects here. I have a rough object and I have a metallic object. And then the dirt here, they use both metallic and rough files. So I'm going to go ahead and go into render mode and just, the lights are going to move around and I'm just going to show you on how each light reflects off of which. And that is the summary on how to use texture files in Blender.